You see those two little guys? They are characters in my D&D campaign. We started all the way back in, early 2021, and we still play regularly on and off. The character I'm drawing has been featured earlier on this channel in my RPG video, which I'll link below. He's a Raven Aarakocra, and his name is Rhule, and he has a pet griffin, which is called Faran. I wanted to draw a poster style drawing, and my first step in making a more detailed piece like this is to work on thumbnails. I haven't drawn that many posters, and usually I draw with a landscape canvas, and not a portrait. It was a challenge to try and find some cool poses that will work for Rhule and his accomplice. So, 16 mini drawings later, and here we are. Many ideas, and I asked the recipient, of course, which one he preferred, and he listed a couple that he liked. After taking a little break from the project, I returned and decided on number 11. Number 11 depicts Rhule standing with his hands resting on the hilt of his sword. In the background we can see Faran hovering in the air. In addition to that, the background has some random lines and curves, which will be the scenery, and I'll get back to that later in the progress. So, Rhule is a paladin of devotion, and how he adopted Faran is actually quite an interesting tale. He was hired along with another group of adventurers to pick some rare herbs that only grows on a specific mountain called the Dual Peaks. The path through the peaks were heralding and quite difficult to traverse. The trail was often laden with rocks and other debris. In addition to that, the party was harassed by a murder of ravens that swooped and attacked them. There were also the classical long thin rope bridges, some half rotten, some not. There were few signs of anything aside from wildlife having been here lately, and after being attacked by birds for the 100th time, they realized the birds were aggressive due to a successful check the resident artificer made. It would appear it was the raven's nesting period. In addition to this, the party also successfully managed to miss the two big shadows occasionally circling the mountain. After a lot of struggling, the party finally made it to the lowest peak. Here they managed to find a kanku called Jody. He claimed to be a researcher of life and habitat up here, stating that this area had excellent conditions for birds, even flightless ones like himself. The party is welcome and encouraged to join him for tea and a little rest in his nest, and they comply. Inside they find a cozy little cave filled with research notes. There are some pointers to future adventures here, but the gist of it is that Jody explains that the other peak is home to 2 griffins, as well as the herbs that they are looking for. He tells them that the griffins are likely hostile, and that they shouldn't approach the birds. Unfortunately, this is a life and death situation, so after a short rest, the party meticulously makes their way to the other peak. Any attempt at being sneaky is failed because several of the party members are wearing heavy armor and clanky equipment. As they make it to the peak laden in sun, they are swiftly attacked by a pair of 2 griffins. They swoop in and make flyby attacks, leaving the party members with only short-range options at a loss for what to do. The griffins fight fiercely, but not fiercer than the party. They attempt to drive the birds away, but when one of the characters, the poor bard, run across the peak to get to some cover, he gets grabbed and tossed by one of the lesser hurt griffins. The party rushes in to save him, resulting in a squabble in the rocks. In the heat of the fight, no one hears the delicate sound of eggs breaking. The griffins put up a fierce fight, but in the end the party remained victorious, albeit they were not happy about it. Licking their wounds and trying to recover and heal, Rhule approaches the rocks where the final desperate fight was held, as that happens to also be where the herbs grow. Upon seeing the massacre, he realized what they did, and he is overcome with grief. He frantically searches the nest, hoping against all odds that maybe not all is lost, and he finds one whole egg, still warm to the touch. He places it gently in his belongings, wrapping it in his bedroll, and tended to it for months. Several adventures later, I finally see my chance as a DM to introduce higher emotional stakes, and maybe put the players through a little bit of the pain that the griffins felt during that fight on the mountain. The party had just accepted a new quest. Apparently, there had been sightings of a unicorn in the woods south of the Dual Peaks. As the party is navigating the daunting forest and looking for any tracks or clues to the whereabouts of the unicorn, they stumble upon a clearing which had at one time likely been home to some kind of creature, although it was unlikely that the creature was a unicorn. They split and search for more clues when a rabid wolf jumps out of the forest along with a pack trailing closely behind. I have Rhule roll a dexterity saving throw to try and dodge the feral beast. Unfortunately for him, he rolls a critical failure, just what I had been waiting for. I described the sound of something breaking in his backpack. At this point, they were still locked in combat, and he was helpless to see what had happened inside his pack, and if the egg was okay. After a short fight against the beasts, the party managed to kill 2 of them before the rest flees with their tails between their legs, and Rhule drops his weapons at the sight, swings his backpack frantically around, and places it as gentle as he can on the ground in a hurry. He stumbles with the clasps on his pack, almost using his talons to tear into it, but a soft chirp stops him. He opens the backpack to see a small little head poking out. Its eyes land on Rhule, and a familial bond is created between them. Rhule had just gotten a son, and his name would be Faran. Faran has since joined in all of the adventures that the party has undertaken. To him, that is his family, and to Rhule, Faran is his most precious. Faran, ever loyal to his family of adventurers, played a crucial role in one of their latest missions. The shopkeeper Theod had begged the party to find his missing pet, Mr. Fluffy Pants, last seen near the abandoned water research facility. When a locate spell failed, the party suspected that the pet might be trapped beyond water and geared up for an underwater trek. Navigating crumbling tunnels and evading kobold patrols, Faran led the way with his sharp instincts. His nose eventually brought the group to a cavernous observatory, where a massive cracked window revealed murky water beyond. At the room's center stood a shimmering magical orb, its energy swirling around a dark furred creature within, a creature that might just be Mr. Fluffy Pants. The party attempted an ambush, but a trap at the entrance sent bolts of energy flying, injuring several members and sealing off their escape. A chaotic battle erupted, with energy bolts creating barriers and scattering allies. Amidst the fray, Faran spotted a chance. The kobold leader guarding a lever had been momentarily exposed. With a leap and a flap of his wings, Faran engaged the kobold in a fierce one-on-one fight. Despite his smaller size, Faran dodged the kobold's every blow, using his agility and determination to gain the upper hand. When the kobold stumbled, Faran pushed him onto the lever, shattering the orb and freeing the mysterious black-furred creature. The cat-like being, responding to the name Mr. Fluffy Pants, joined the fight, helping Faran and the party claim victory. Exhausted but triumphant, the group returned Mr. Fluffy Pants to Theod, who showered them with rewards and gratitude. The enigmatic pet, now safely home, purred with contentment as Theod vowed to keep him safe. The party, with Faran at their side, set out once more, ready for the next adventure awaiting them. So this speed paint is coming to a close, but the adventures of the party isn't yet. There are so many possibilities and incredible moments waiting to happen. This time I drew Rhule and Faran. Who should I draw next? Well, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed some of Faran's adventures so far. Stay tuned for more. Bye!